Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Not a Trekkie, an all Star Wars Everything podcast brought to you by Red Cyclone Inc. Now, I cannot express this anymore. There is no hate. But this ain't Stargate, this ain't Star Trek, this is Star Wars. I'm your host, Tenacious T, a.k.a. Tosca Wop, my partner in crime, the Merc with the mic.
What is going on? What is going on?
We are back, we are back, we are back.
Yep.
I never thought that we'd make it to this day, but we have.
Yeah.
This is the first time I can say that I have ventured off, besides some of the comic books of Star Wars. I've read a couple of things. Darth Vader's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm like 6 or 7 of those. But this is the first time outside of the movies that I actually gave a chance to, and we are now ending the first show, which was Clone Wars.
Clone Wars Season 7.
Clone Wars Season 7. Is there any Star Wars news out there?
Acolytes is coming out soon. I think next month.
And what time frame is this supposed to be?
That's supposed to be like Old Republic. So
Old Republic, okay.
Before everything.
The makings of the Republic.
It looks good.
Well,
we used to catch up with Andor. Well, not Andor. We watched Andor.
Ahsoka. Yes, but you know, in order to understand Ahsoka, because what we realized when watching like Boba Fett and watching Mandalorian, like we should have done this first. You know what I mean? Like we definitely should have, because there's characters in the show that are shown again. You know what I mean?
Sense,
like Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
If you didn't watch this show beforehand, which I didn't, I would have never known who the fuck she was. You know, which, you know what I mean? Like I got introduced to her in The Mandalorian and in Boba Fett and stuff like that, but like now I know who the hell she is.
Yeah.
You know, like I've been deprived for so long. But then again, I don't venture off into certain things. The beginning of this show, the CG was... First and foremost, I didn't even realize it stretched to as long as it did. 7 seasons took from what? 2007, 6?
6, and then the last
and ended in fucking 2020.
Yeah, because the last one was like 5 years later.
But seven seasons in literally fucking over 10 years?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Because when it went to Disney Plus, it was like 5 years later.
Okay. I don't know. It's been very, very interesting, and I have my what I say we do is like we dive down in this season, right? Break it down, and then give our consensus of this season, and then give a consensus of the entire show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 7 seasons hasn't been a lot. There's a lot that's happened.
Yeah.
Highlight, you know, voice our highlights, what we kind of wanted more of, stuff like that, because we're now sealing out a show that's not coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not continuing Clone Wars ever again.
Yeah.
Unless they come out with another season.
Yeah.
But I think it's done.
Well, bad.
Because if you notice when you watch it on Disney Plus, it says the final season.
Yeah.
So they're done.
Yeah.
So we'll give an overall review of the episode, and then an overall review, a quick review of what we think of the show in itself.
All right. So Clone Wars. This is the final season. This was 2020.
I know, it's wild to even think that.
5 years, like 5-6 years later after the final season.
So they took a real break.
Yeah.
They wanted to break down and probably lead off into what came next, because Bad Batch came out, right?
Yeah.
So Bad Batch, I'm assuming, is our first story arc.
After this.
Where that goes.
Yeah.
The misfits of the clones.
Yes. So I was technically right.
Oh, what, with the Slew?
Yeah.
I hate bringing him up in this, but yes. Slew's a very big Star Wars fan, though, so I'll give him his props.
But I was technically right, because the Echo story and stuff like that went into the Bad Batch, so that was the beginning of the Bad Batch.
It was, technically, and he ended up going with them, right?
Yeah.
So he's part of the Bad Batch.
I was correct.
Screw you, Slew. That's one for the Merc. Think you know everything.
So, our final season is 12 episodes. This year, 2020, during dark times.
Well, Ahsoka's getting a season 2, right? If there's any news to talk of, you know what I mean?
But Ahsoka takes place after Return of the Jedi.
What, Ahsoka's timeline?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because that's the
later.
Mandalorian time that we're talking about, and that's 5 years.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's 5 years, 6 years after.
Return of the Jedi.
Yes, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So this one is beating the Clone Wars. Because honestly, the last episode, you hear Anakin, "I hate you."
See, but no, it has to be. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. At the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of now after watching this show, after Order 66 happened.
Yeah.
It makes sense now to me of why there was always sticks and their helmets on top.
Yeah.
We got now I know why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you saw that a lot in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You saw that in Boba Fett. It's all over Tatooine.
Yeah.
Literally all over Tatooine. There was a whole field of that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm happy that we did dive down into this. We should have done this a while ago.
Overall, it was a good show. It's a good show. Like,
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the.
And it's important to the lore and understanding of Star Wars. It kind of placed a lot of different things in.
And the guy that's the main producer and shit like that, and also the writer, he's kind of going into like our next big saga of Star Wars is going to be written by him. So he's the plan of the future.
So he already has his foot in the dirt when it comes to for this.
So you want to do even or odd?
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Okay, so
it's your house. You do it. All right. So what we do is we run down each of the story arcs because unlike a lot of other shows, this show actually pertains to a story. So it's important to continue. So Episode 1, The Bad Batch. Fearing that the Separatists are using secret data to predict Republic military strategy, Captain Rex works with an experimental clone unit known as the Bad Batch to infiltrate a Separatist stronghold on Anaxis.
Yep. Episode 2, A Distant Echo. Anakin Skywalker, Rex, and Bad Batch make a shocking discovery on Seco Moore, which was lined up being a signal from Echo.
Yes. Anakin Skywalker, Rex, and the Bad Batch follow a signal to Techno Union facility on Skako Minor, where their shocking discovery leads them right into Wat Templar's trap.
And then episode 4 is Unfinished Business. Anakin Skywalker.
Well, no, 3. I reread yours.
Yeah.
So, episode 3, On the Wings of Kiridex. Jedi Anakin, not Master Jedi, if you notice. Jedi Anakin Skywalker and the clones escape Wat Templar's trap and return to the local village to help defend the native people against a droid attack launched by Separatist Admiral Trench.
Episode 4 is Unfinished Business. Anakin Skywalker and the Bad Batch attempt to gain a victory for the Republic. This pretty much led into them finding Echo and then them being able to save it.
Yes. So, this is the first story arc of the season. We get introduced to this misfits, this rat pack, the outsiders of the clones. You know what I mean? I like them too. I like them a lot, actually. And the reason why I like them, one, is from what we've seen from all the clones, we've only seen Jango Fett's face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them also individually trying to make themselves separate from everybody else. They are a clone, yes, but they are individuals to the clones.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we've only seen alterations in appearance.
Yeah.
This is alterations on the physical level.
Yeah.
They are literally the runts of the clones. And they all looked awesome. Every single one of them was cool. Even the main dude, tell me he didn't look like Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots.
He did.
100%.
I think I will honestly say that the producer did 100% based him off his Charlie Sheen.
He looks exactly like him in Hot Shots.
He looks like Hot Shots.
And I never once said that because I wanted to save it for this cast.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that you think that because he literally looks like Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots.
Yeah. It was an action-packed series. series of episodes, I was correct because the last season.
I'm gonna make Slew listen to this episode.
Exactly. Because he was like, oh no, and they were like, no, it did start it because these guys are part of the whole thing of what the Bad Batch became.
And if
Echo's a big part of it.
If Slew listens to this cast, I just want to air it out in the world that I just beat him in a dance battle at work. All right? I did.
At least he didn't go through the wall this time.
No, he had the air lockies on.
Oh, so you had more grip.
And he did really good, and everybody's like, oh, and I didn't dance at all. I left, came back, and did the sideways moonwalk on him in boots, in boots, showing that it could be done. And everybody was like, "You won! You killed that!" And I was like, "I caught him." But shouts out to Slew. Shouts out to him because I will give him this. I was watching the show in the break room, and he was like, he literally pinpointed the exact episode that I was watching. Like it was crazy. It's like he's very knowledgeable on it.
He
you
loves
know what I mean?
Star Wars, and shout out to him because honestly, like he would get me excited for like the season I'm about to go to and stuff like that. He was telling me about Bad Batch. He's like, yo, you should definitely watch that next. He recommended that one being next before Ahsoka, just because that's right after Clone Wars and whatnot. But,
I still want to watch Ahsoka though. You know what I mean?
I shout out to him
because this show has pertained to Ahsoka a lot.
He gives
you know
me
what I mean?
Star Wars knowledge. I give him credit. I don't know a lot about Star Wars. I know good enough. I watch enough, but
we've casted enough. You know what I mean?
But I'm not. But then again, I'm not like. Again, like I'm not a super fan, but I am a fan. I like what I see, and then I'll call shit and shit.
You are, and we've said this before, and I also enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Do you like the Star Wars universe when it doesn't pertain to the Force?
I don't mind the Force. I just don't like it being the story all the time.
I gotta pee, but
I don't like.
No, I know.
Yeah, I don't like it being in the story all the time. So that's why Mandalorian, I think, was such a good thing, because it was a separate thing from the Jedi. But I do like the Jedi stuff, because, again, the games. I like wielding a lightsaber, I like all that stuff. So basically, me, like Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, I love those games because of that. But anyway, going into the series of the Bad Batch, you kind of got introduced to the Bad Batch, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing the show now, because I kind of like the little personalities. I like the differences of them. The one was the nerd. It kind of gave me like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibe, with one being the nerd, one being the action role, one being angry all the time like Raphael and things like that. So I really enjoy that stuff. But it was fun, and I'm excited to see where we're going to go from there. So, with these series of episodes and stuff like that, we also got reintroduced to Echo. He wound up going back to the Bad Batch, and
yeah, they captured his ass, and he was in a fucking container ship being drained like it was the Matrix.
Yep.
It had a very Matrix feel.
Yeah.
And you know what I liked about them, the Bad Batch? They didn't give a fuck about orders.
Yep.
Like, now, the reason why we are who we are is because we do things.
Yeah.
We make things happen.
They're the X-Force.
Yeah, they are, fuck you, I'm going to get the job done.
They're the X-Force of the Star Wars universe.
And the fact that, you know, I did enjoy the fact that Echo, because the way he looked and the way he was, like, he kind of fit in well with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's more clone-oriented. Like in the abstract of like military formation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was there. He was a major character for mad long.
Yeah.
And it's only right that his story continues.
Yeah.
He is probably the #1 clone in the military.
Yeah.
I would say, until this Bad Batch came along, and the Bad Batch had just like they're like Ready Player One.
It gave me Ninja vibes.
Ninja Turtle vibes, Ready Player One, like the way the girl looked in Ready Player One was the big dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they were cool. You had the little Poindexter one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I said Ninja Turtle vibes, because you had the leader, you had the nerd, you had the angry one.
And they all did different things, and they all kicked ass.
Yeah.
And they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, they enjoyed it.
They had each other's back, though.
Yeah.
They were a brotherhood. You know what I mean?
We loved it.
I do. 100% I do. So, on to the next story arc. There's only 3 story arcs. This is a very
Yeah.
short season. I am not very... For a last final season, I'm not happy with the series of episodes. It could have been so much more. We went from Ahsoka being basically banished from the Jedi Council,
Yeah.
and then realizing that she was right the whole time,
Yeah.
and then X to come back and she said no.
Yeah.
So we didn't see her for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For like an entire season almost, we didn't see her. And now she comes back, and now we'll dive down into the episodes. But it just threw me off because like it could have been so much more. Episode 5, Gone with a Trace. In I was going to say croissant. Coruscant. In the Coruscant underworld, Ahsoka Tano, Padawan Ahsoka Tano, befriends a pilot whose sister enlists her to help build droids. But when the unit malfunctions, Ahsoka must stop the dangerous droid without revealing her Jedi past.
Episode 6, Deal
Or No Deal.
No Deal. Trace makes a rash decision after learning what they are transporting is for Psych Syndicate.
You know what's funny? We're reading from 2 different things.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just Googled it, and it's the episode guide.
I just went shorter.
No, it's all good. Episode 7, Dangerous Debt. After being imprisoned by the Pikes, Ahsoka Tano and the Mart sisters manage a daring escape of their stronghold, fleeing together through the city of their ship, desperate to invade the Pike forces in pursuit.
Episode 8. See, these are extremely long. I'll keep the short one. There you go. Episode 8. Together again, Ahsoka bargains for the sisters' freedom and makes a startling discovery. I could live without these episodes.
Thank you.
I'd say it's key for Ahsoka's TV series when we get into that, because there's 2
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
One character that's off here that's in that series.
Okay.
So I'll say it's key for that. Other than that, I did not care anything about this.
For a last season, you're gonna seal it off. It's 2020. Shit's hitting the fan. You need excitement. You need entertainment. This series of episodes, we could have totally lived without.
Yeah.
I wish that it was more in depth of her doing something else besides spice running and running with these sisters, and the sisters have a grudge against the Jedi because the Jedi killed her family, killed their parents.
My only positive out of these.
That's literally what those 4 episodes was about.
So my only positive of the series is it leads into Book of Boba Fett.
I know you told me that, and I never caught the connection.
The mist, the red sand that they were fucking collecting.
Okay, now I see it. Now.
Remember the train episode and shit like that? That's what they were collecting. So it kind of connects to Book of Boba Fett.
They're spice runners.
Yeah. So
I guess this is the information of that spice is a drug,
it's
basically.
Crack.
It's cocaine. It's heroin.
It's cocaine.
Well, in all reality, spice, in the world back in the day was a thing to barter.
Yeah.
India is known for their spices. They hold a majority of the spice that we use today in their country. They always have a trade. The trade route always went through India. So I get it. It kind of is like a hint to like the history of us. You know what I mean? Where in galaxies, certain planets probably don't have paprika. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have basil. They don't have onion powder. They don't have cayenne pepper. Okay? They don't have it because of the planet that they're on. So
crack.
Maybe they want to season their food.
Or cocaine.
Or shooting up some good old grade A Colombian fucking skunk. You know what I mean?
Anyway. then we go into our last of the four. We don't have much to say about these. Like, it is what it is. I think it was more to just develop Ahsoka, and that they kind of did that with that. But other than that, like, I didn't really care.
What, for that story arc?
Yeah, it was more develop her.
I mean, it was, also they ultimately ended up accepting her because they realized that she wasn't, and then she explained, like, hey, I got excommunicated out of them and I never went back to them. So I'm a Jedi, yes, because I'm in tune to the Force, but I'm not a Jedi.
Yeah. I feel
and I commend that. And they also, what they did, they didn't just, like, turn on her. Yeah. So it was not bad series of episodes, but it's not needed for the last season.
Yeah,
I wanted more action.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted more balls to the wall. The whole season should have been one fucking story arc where everybody came together. The Bad Batch with this, with that. Like, it would have been dope. And then you would have went off into Ahsoka. You would have went off into Bad Batch. But let's get into these last 4 episodes. Old Friend, Episode 9. Old Friends Not Forgotten. Anakin and Obi-Wan are faced with a difficult choice when they must decide whether to help Ahsoka pursue Maul or rescue Palpatine.
Return of Darth Maul.
And he got legs back.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Phantom Apprentice. Ahsoka and the Republic forces confront Maul and Mandalore.
Episode 11, Shattered. Ahsoka returns Maul to the Jedi on Coruscant, and her world is turned upside down when the Order 66 is declared.
Uh-oh. So this also timeline is in Force Order, the Fallen Order.
Okay, I've never finished the game, but I do see it.
When you begin the game, it's his mentor got killed during the
Order 66.
Anyway. And you see him, kind of. Anyway. And then the final episode is Victory and Death. With the galaxy in chaos, Ahsoka and Rex are in a race to ensure their own survival.
This was an eventful...
This was an interesting one because
I had my problems with it, though.
So this 4-part series, I like the fact that Darth Maul kind of like wanted.
He's more verbal in this one.
Yeah.
He kind of is. I don't know. He's more humanized, I guess, a little bit because you can see that he's affected by what happened to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole thing with his brother.
But one thing he knew about the Order 66.
Yeah, well, he was there when they were doing it.
He was talking about it, but he didn't explain it the way he is. And then he explained it to Ahsoka that, like, yeah, this is about to happen, and she didn't believe him.
Yeah. Well, which we got in the last season, which was a fucking phenomenal story arc. It's just that whole malfunction in his thing, and he killed the fucking Jedi. You know what I mean? I think that this series of episodes was good because of the Maul Ahsoka interaction. Yeah. Because now Maul is out to be his own master.
Yeah.
And he's like, obviously runs into Ahsoka, and Ahsoka, he's like, I'm going to give you the option, like, come with me. Me and you be my apprentice, we will take over shit. You know what I mean? And Ahsoka's like, no, but I'm going to use the shit out of you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, in that series, that whole part, I think, was awesome. Like, sending Maul out on his own as, like, an scapegoat to have everybody's attention towards him so she can manipulate what she needs to do. Yeah. And then he was like, well, at least give me because Ahsoka got her second saber. Yeah. So now she's a dual saber. Yeah. You know what I mean? From Anakin. Which I have the whole interaction between Anakin and her in these series of episodes pissed the fuck off me. It's so bad, like it irritates the crap out of me. But the whole interaction between Maul and her, Maul going out, you know what I mean, doing his thing, and then like they kind of had like a mutual bond at that moment in time. You know what I mean, like where he was trying to bring her to the dark side. Yeah. And that was her moment. Yeah. Because she's already been, nobody trusted her. Yeah. She was a problem from the beginning, not action-wise, but everybody had a problem with her. Yeah. Like from the beginning. So like Maul and her could have really dominated some shit.
Yeah.
You know? The problem is with these series of episodes is the interaction between her and Anakin Skywalker, because at this moment in time, Anakin should be off the fucking rails. In the timeline of the movies that we're talking about, where this is happening, he should be starting to get the black rings around his eyes. He should start showing more and more. There's only one moment in time where he dropped in and was like fighting the guys, and they're like, "This is not what a Jedi does." He's like, "Well, I'm not an ordinary Jedi."
Yeah.
He'll go to any extent to do it. You never really saw him crack during it. He was still fighting for her. He was still the calm, cool, collected Anakin Skywalker. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, that one episode where she hears him go through the whole ordeal with Obi-Wan going in, but there was none of that anywhere else in those episodes.
I could never see the non-burning marshmallow anymore.
I agree, because that is hilarious. But it's like, this Anakin should have been showing more.
I agree. I agree with that. Like, I feel like he should have started showing his heel.
Yeah, like showing that he was cracking, that the dark side was really getting to him. Because anytime you saw him, he was just.
And then her learning about Rex's experience with the Emperor and all that stuff too, kind of shed light on the fact that she knew what Anakin was going on, and he was like right.
Yeah, we devised that Palpatine is the Emperor.
Yeah,
like we got that in this,
and then
which is good.
But yeah, I agree. Like, we should have saw the damage of Anakin
start cracking,
like
bro.
And honestly, there were scenes that you could easily have him crack, like the time when Obi-Wan was saying, "Hey, say hi to Padme for me." He could have cracked a little bit.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was moments in time where he had the pocket to show that he was starting to become unstable.
Yeah.
Because it really didn't really show that. It was just really him fighting for her still, trying to get her back with them, giving her the extra saber, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and then shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? Like, obviously we know what happens from watching the movies and stuff like that, but it was literally him helping her, then he's gone, and then you hear the fire pit. You hear him in the lava. It's like, where's the build-up? It was like so flatlined to me. It was a horrible ending. Horrible ending.
You know what? I agree. Like,
horrible.
It could have been more dramatic. It could have been more there. It could have been more character development with that. At least, like, during the Ahsoka episode, you could have saw the little cracks in him.
Like her being worried for him.
The bags under his eyes. Things like that. Like, you could have really showed it. Like, the fact that you're talking about that, it kind of opens my eyes and it kind of fucks up my
perception of
it, because I was like, yeah, you're right. They didn't show the cracks in him. They didn't show the bags in his eyes, the stress in him.
The only season that we got that was when he went to the with the father, the son, and the sister.
Yeah.
That's the only time you really saw Darth Vader coming in.
I think we should have really got it when Obi-Wan was like, say hi to Padme.
And I didn't even think about that, but once you said that, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Tell her.
That should have been something that.
Because they were already butting heads at this time.
Exactly.
In the movie, sense of the prequel,
exactly.
they were already. You already saw the tall tale signs. When did he kill the younglings?
Yeah.
Were the younglings from the season before with her, with them? Because they should have fucking showed that.
Yeah.
And her found out about more of that and be more worrisome and maybe tried to get him back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have been better than what we got. Yes, we got Maul. We got more, because Maul, in all reality, he's like Boba Fett in the movie world. Because Boba Fett isn't shown except for in Empire Strikes Back. He doesn't talk, he just moves, he's just a bounty hunter. And then in Return of the Jedi, when he gets eaten by the fucking thing. You know what I mean? And then we get more of the insight when Mandalorian comes along. But this came out beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, we should have gotten more of the Order 66. More of Anakin slipping up, fighting with her, and then going... Like, maybe they get into an argument and then goes and kills the fucking kids.
No.
You know what I mean?
I agree with it. Like, I feel like they should have been more emphasis of
him
Ahsoka
cracking.
and Anakin.
Because she
like,
had no
honestly,
clue that he was even going to the dark side.
I feel like this season should have been focused on that.
The entire season.
Because honestly, that was his apprentice. I think that was the person that's most closest to him beyond Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan kind of lost connection with him because of what he was doing. But Ahsoka is the one that has the connection with him. So she should have saw more.
Yeah, she should have felt more.
Damn, you just fucked up this season for me.
No, because that is what I thought of while watching it.
So
it was so uneventful.
Yeah, like
it was an uneventful ending.
I would say, yeah, I agree. I have to.
And then you see all of a sudden it happens, right? She hears it, and then you see him as Darth Vader walk by and pick up her thing, like.
But why?
There was no interaction between her and him.
No.
But there was no interaction between her and him. Yeah. She never sought him out.
Or
after he went and like tried to get her back, tried to get him back.
Yeah, like I feel like she would have went after him.
The whole show is based around him and her.
Yeah. And
their interactions and love for each other. She was non-existent in any of the transformation.
Maybe when we watch Ahsoka, we probably get explained a little bit more.
I hope so. I know for a fact that she mentions it.
Yeah, but I agree. Like they should have focused more on their relationship. They should have focused more on, because the fact that she could feel his shit, she should have felt more.
The master and the apprentice are one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Obi-Wan sensed him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they felt that. Like, she didn't sense. And, like I said, with their interactions in these episodes, there was no sign of him at all being crazy. He was just Anakin throughout the whole series. Like, I miss you, kid, whatever he called her. You know what I mean? I miss you, da-da-da, I'm happy that you're back. And that was it. It upsets me because they could have utilized this, and especially at the time frame in the world that we're in. It's 2020. Yeah. You want that. You want more because a lot of shit around you is happening. You know what I mean? It was just such a lackluster end of a series. It should have never happened that way.
I agree.
And I don't know who the hell's who signed off on that.
Yeah.
But I get they gave us the alley-oop to the Bad Batch. Now, I haven't seen anything about it. I don't know anything about it. I'm excited about it, but, like, come on. Yeah. You had all the potential in the world to show a different angle of him cracking.
Yeah.
More on the emotional, because you saw him crack with Amidala, right? Padme. You saw him crack with Obi-Wan. You saw him crack with the council and everything like that when fucking what's his face got killed.
Maybe he purposely
held off.
Maybe
she was like his home. You know what I mean? That home to men. Maybe, but he still should have been because you watched.
Saw, like, the
you saw.
In his eyes and shit like that.
You saw in what is it?
In Rise
my brain just went blank. I've been drinking a little bit.
The last one, the prequel.
Yes, I know.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
You've seen in that movie
you see
a lot of him already being looking like he's been up for 5 days. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of that.
I feel like if you should have showed that detail at least.
Just on his face, like he looked like he had, or even been like, "Hey, Anakin, like, are you okay?"
I saw that they like darken his eyes and stuff like that, but they didn't go like full.
But she could have been like, "Yo, Anakin, are you all right?"
Yeah.
Even just that one little subtle thing.
Yeah.
Would have changed the whole end for me. Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Don't worry about me, Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And then that would have been enough.
Yeah.
Just the acknowledgement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was turning into Darth Vader, bro. You know what I mean?
I agree, because also, like, there's ways they could have hinted or even played into it.
It could have been another season.
Because Ahsoka also could feel his pain. And the fact that he's feeling his pain, she should have probably felt more than what we saw. And then that is the story that you're giving us. You kind of had to correct that. I called that.
You did. 100%.
But Yeah, I agree. Like, you should have had the trials of Anakin. You should have had him like more darkened and like showing
Bring the
his
younglings
cracks,
back, and
showing
then
his
him like
thing.
knowing that where they're gonna be.
Or even showing them and seeing the lightsaber go off. That scene where you just see the lightsaber go off.
Yeah,
You could have just replayed that scene.
and just gave us a hint like
And
this
then
is
you
happening.
See, and then it goes to Ahsoka's head and like,
What's going on with Master?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe had it where it interfered with her and the Spice Runners.
Yeah.
Had scenes where she was like off of target of what was happening to her, and was like, I sense something wrong. Something is wrong with Master.
Yeah.
There was no hints to it. It was just boom. Order 66 happens. We got to see the call.
Yeah.
We got Order 66.
Yeah.
We got to see that, which we've seen in the movie as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you see like
But you didn't see like him murder the younglings and
Hey.
really become Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Or even like have any moment of interaction where she tries to. You could have had a whole nother season come after this of
Yeah.
her trying to get him back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's good storytelling. So like overall, so that this was season 7
Yeah.
of Clone Wars. Now, overall, since we are never going to watch another Clone Wars unless we dive back into it in the future for a different insight or whatever, what are your favorite moments and your what you wished? I don't know. What is your overall look on a Clone Wars?
That whole Yoda series, the last season was fun.
Yoda was the man.
Yeah.
Yoda whooped some ass. He destroyed armies by himself.
I like.
And that was in the early seasons.
I
too.
like the Bad Batch story. I like the beginning of Echo and Max and Rex.
Yeah, Rex.
And the
5
beginning
stories was
of the
awesome.
Bad Batch.
I feel you. I mean, 5 story alone was fucking awesome,
5.
because that's what shed light. So like the way back to the Ahsoka and Anakin thing. They shed light on 66, Order 66. We got more of an insight of it by finding out that a chip was implanted in their head and one malfunctioned. That's good storytelling that tied in Order 66 more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the clones are for the Republic.
Yeah. Maul return. I thought that was a cool.
Maul, dope.
And then I just thought the action and it got better throughout time.
The CG got better.
But I agree with the last season. Like, there's a lot of like loopholes that you could have filled and actually took care of, and you did not.
No, I felt like they just rushed it out.
And then you just realize that people watched the movie, and like not everyone watched the movie. Like honestly, people probably watched this as its own. And you could have told more of a story with that. And me agreeing with you, like you're opening a lot of things, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm putting things together. I'm like, damn, they could have actually did a lot more.
Could have been us. That whole Spice Runner shit could have been one fucking episode.
I like the series.
Overall, I like it.
I grab like if we're gonna go to the new scale.
Well, I'm gonna give a little insight into like the things that I dug. You know what I mean?
Like if I'm gonna give it a new scale, 1 to 10 and shit like that, it would be like a 7.5.
Okay.
Because there are things that like in the beginning that wasn't catching on, but then once it got into that season 3, season 4, season 5, like that middle section.
Yeah, it started getting crazy, bro.
Balls to the wall and like crazy action, a lot of good story and shit like that. And then the ending, then the more the fact that you talk about it, the more that we think about it and going back and forth with it, I feel like they should have embraced more of Order 66 as its own series. Like you could have easily showed 6 episodes of Order 66 as its own season.
It could be its own show.
Yeah.
It could be called Order 66.
Yeah.
Of all the shit that everybody's going
Burger
through.
and fries.
You know what I mean? Overall, so like with me, like the highlights, like I dig Ahsoka. I like Ahsoka. I think Ahsoka's a good character.
I like her a lot more because we went through this.
You know what I mean? Like I knew of her, but I didn't know of her. You feel me?
Yeah.
So this show enlightened that. The CG in the beginning of the seasons bothered me, but you could see the advancement in technology as time went by, because the last season was probably the best animated CG you can do for its time because we're in the vicinity of that time.
Yeah.
I really, really, really dug the making of Maul's brother on that island. I mean, on that planet with the witches, where the witches were, like, that was some visually beautiful storytelling. I love the interaction with Maul, with Palpatine killing his brother. I think that is great storytelling. Yeah. For a show that's called The Clone Wars, there's only segments of each season that actually pertains to the clones.
Yeah.
It should have been more clone work.
But I feel like we got a good story with the clones. Though.
Yeah, no, we got individualism.
Yeah.
With a couple of name 5 clones off the top of your head. Rex, Echo, 5s. Yeah. That's all I can think of.
And the Bad Batch.
And the Bad Batch, but they're one unit. That's 4. I can't think of another name. I can see the faces. The old clone that wasn't like, he never went out to war, and he just ran with the one thing and got shot in the back. And it's like, oh, he's like, he could have been so much more. Yeah. He could have ended up becoming like a fucking monstrous general or some shit like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they killed his ass. Good storytelling. I like that. I like the Ahsoka Anakin interaction. I like the Anakin in that season with the witches, and then he goes to that planet with the father, the son, and the daughter. Yeah. And you actually see a side of the dark side come out of him because they're fucking with him.
Yeah.
That's the only real moment in time where you really see him becoming the person who he's ultimately going to be.
Yeah.
Everything else has just been him and Ahsoka, him being the master and her being the apprentice. Yeah. Not cracking. He barely cracked in this show.
I kind of wish that we got more of that.
It would have made the show so much better. It's not a bad show, no, so I will give it an 8.
An 8.
I will give it an 8 because of the lack of that.
Yeah. I will say, like, why I gave it 7.5 is the fact that the first 2 seasons took me a little bit to get it.
Oh, my bad. A 7 then. Yeah. I wanted to be a notch underneath you.
Yeah. So I gave it 7.5 because the first 2 seasons took a little bit to get into. Once we started getting rolling with the story, I kind of disappointed with how it ended. Just because now the fact that you're bringing your points up and stuff like that, and me thinking about the whole thing, it's like, yeah, you should have had
so much more of that.
This whole season should have been the demise of Anakin.
Yes.
From episode 1 to episode 12.
Or maybe even like Obi-Wan going to Ahsoka, like, I don't know what's going on with Anakin. There's something going on with him.
You should have showed.
Oh, this is interesting.
You should have showed the signs throughout the 12 episodes.
Make him look like he's a drug addict.
Like, first 2 episodes, he could be rebel. Second 2 episodes, you can start seeing the black in the eyes and things like that. The 4th and 5th, you can start seeing him being a bit more like attacking people easily. Like someone comes questioning him and shit like that, he'll attack them easily and things like that. Towards like 8th and 9th, you start seeing the rings under his eyes and the fucking of him just being very short with people, things like that. Until the end, when Order 66 happens, you can actually see the true nature of Anakin. I understand that they put the sounds of Revenge of the Sith, of the ending of Revenge of the Sith, when he got chopped up and was like, I hate you. But I feel like, again, you could definitely show the signs. You could have showed the signs throughout the 12 episodes they had.
So, I was just thinking, I was like, instead of the Ahsoka Maul interaction, maybe it should have been Maul trying to get Anakin to come over to the dark side. You know what I mean? Like, and then maybe he influenced it a little bit.
Maul was trying to warn Ahsoka about Anakin.
No, he did. He mentioned, he literally said it in the episode. He was like, I am not the guy. Yeah, like, the guy you should be worried about is Anakin because he's already the chosen one.
But I feel like she didn't believe him. So I feel like
why would she?
But also I feel like he should have made more of an attempt to, like, yo, this is the real shit. This is what happened through my time. This is what happened through my order.
This is what's going on. Anakin
There's
is...
a lot of story that
could
was
have been
missed.
told.
Yeah, I agree.
It was. Don't get me wrong. The overall show, it's a watchable
Yeah.
show. It's nice. The ending had the greatest potential to be probably one of the best storylines Star Wars put out.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Because obviously in the movies there is no talk of Ahsoka in
Yeah.
any movie. In all 6 movies, there's not a talk of Ahsoka once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Rise of Skywalker and all that, obviously she wouldn't really be a part of it, but you never know. They could have been talking about Darth Vader and just threw Ahsoka's name out there.
Yeah.
Because obviously Ahsoka is a major part of the development of Anakin, because Anakin, this is his first Padawan.
I wish we got more of that.
We had the Obi-Wan Kenobi Anakin interaction. We
Yeah.
got that. We saw that interaction. It should have been kind of the same thing.
I'm hoping that Ahsoka, and then no, because Ahsoka's a lot later. So basically, the series.
But I know she
it.
mentions it.
I'm hoping that we see some questions asked, especially like what we're dealing with and whatnot. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed.
Very disappointed, man.
Well, think about it right now. I'm like really disappointed because again, you put up a lot of good.
You didn't see him strung out.
Yeah.
Because he looked strung out
He should've looked like
in Revenge of the Sith.
He should have looked like he was snorting them Jedi.
Should that scar on his eye?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It should have been of that.
And then also he should have been like short with Padme.
Yeah, Padme was barely even in this season.
Yeah, but
she
he
was
was,
in
like, on the
one, I
phone
think,
with her.
one scene.
On the phone with her, but he should have been short with her too as well. Like again, you should have sold him getting short with people.
Yeah.
Throughout this-
Or him just like elsewhere, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like looking around, like being disheveled.
I agree.
Or maybe had an episode of him really snapping.
Yeah,
And then like Ahsoka hits him. Like it could be. I could go night and day of situations that could have happened
Yeah.
where Ahsoka hit him up. Like, hey, Master, I need you, and him being like, not now, or like some shit like that. Not now, fucking. You know what I mean? Ahsoka, not now. Like, but no, when they
10 is my time.
when they interacted in the episodes, he was just regular Anakin,
Yeah,
being actually thoughtful and kind to her.
yeah.
Because he gave her, like, welcome back.
Yeah.
You're like, you're the missing key. Here's another one. Here's another lightsaber. Now you're a dual saber. You know what I mean?
But I think that was also to show that the one person that he had like that the low guard to was
Kept him grounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I guess. But then, like, just that whole episode, she's just sitting there, and then all of a sudden she hears him in the fiery
But then
pit.
again, you could have easily did that with Obi-Wan. Then. If she's his if she is his safe place pretty much,
Yeah, his grounding.
then you could have had him kind of snap at Obi-Wan
Yeah,
Or-
that scene.
or any
But,
other Jedi that kind of questioned him.
like, how much time is passing in these episodes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Anakin was in a lot of the episodes. There
Yeah.
was only Ahsoka in that 4 story arc with the girls,
Yeah, and
which
that's-
wasn't needed. That could have been one episode,
Yeah.
and then Anakin coming at the end.
Yeah.
Like, coulda, woulda, shoulda all
Yeah.
day. You know what I mean? It's like it flopped. This show could have been so much more
Yeah.
if they showed that
I
more
agree.
and showed more of the Order 66.
So, going on from this, what are we gonna go to next? We want to do Ahsoka or we want to do Bad Batch?
Now the question is, does Bad Batch tie into Ahsoka?
No, because it's right after. Clone
So
Wars.
Bad Batch is what, 2 seasons?
3.
3 seasons?
Yeah.
I say we do Ahsoka.
Let's go.
Let's acknowledge the character at hand that we got introduced to in this show, that we did not watch Ahsoka because of it.
Okay.
Because we wanted to learn about her.
Yeah, and it fucking got spoiled, that motherfucker.
So now we're tying in the Mandalorian and Boba Fett to Clone Wars while watching Ahsoka.
Alright, so-
Because Cad Bane was
Yeah.
in fucking Boba Fett,
Yeah,
which was amazing.
I like it.
And Cad Bane was introduced in the show.
I like
We
it.
should have seen this show before we watched those.
I think we should have had more of him too.
You know, 100%.
I like it.
But we did, and
I like them.
Cad Bane
Um,
he's the truth.
So I'll say, all right, Ahsoka.
Because that's a one and done.
So the next cast would be Ahsoka. Season 2 is coming out later this year anyway. So we got Ahsoka season 1. Then we go to the Bad Batch.
Yes, we'll do Bad Batch.
And then after that,
I'd say either
Acolyte.
Rebel ones, because we got to go back,
Or Acolyte.
and then also the side story ones that.
Acolyte.
No, but there's another one, the Origins or some shit like that.
Origins is fast. So
I know. I watched it.
Yeah,
I've already watched it with Jeremy.
Okay, so what we could do is
I can watch it again. It's very
so we
fast.
do Ahsoka first.
We'll go into Bad Batch.
Then we go to Bad Batch. We do Origins,
Yes.
and then we'll do Acolyte.
Okay. At some point in time, we have to watch Rebel ones
And then Rebel 1 we'll do after.
as an elective at the end, because I know that was
And
seasons,
Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in it.
which makes him the voice of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of things that I watched and listened to, which I remember when we first started. Not a Trekkie that I quoted, and you're like,
Yeah.
listen, not everything Freddie Prinze Jr. fucking says is real, okay? That you said that shit to me.
He was a wrestling writer too.
Hey, he does Rivals.
So he did he wrote for WWE from 2010 to 2014.
What I love about him is that he was always the pretty boy in all these movies.
Yeah.
And it never showed him as an individual. Nowadays, he's more as an individual. He's
Yeah.
a personality. Then he's not acting.
And then
He's got a contract with WWE,
and
bro.
What's funny with him is the fact that he sees his acting as just a paycheck, and then everything else he does is
Yeah, he
is
was
his
just a
money.
pretty boy, bro.
Yeah.
Boys and Girls was a good movie. I like that movie.
He hated it. He just took it for a paycheck. And
You know what I mean? She's all that.
Yeah.
That's what he's known for. And being married to Sarah Michelle Gellar.
They got married after.
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. And then Scooby Doo they did together.
Yes.
Anyway.
Which he was a good Fred.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him. He's not a
I
good.
didn't mind those
He's not a
movies.
good actor
I didn't mind those movies. The movies were fun.
because they're over the top
James
funny.
Gunn directed the first
They're
one.
over the top funny, bro. You know
I
what I
like
mean?
James Gunn. And I
What's her
have-
face playing fucking Thelma?
Yeah.
Come on, she's so bad, so bad. I love, and I mean bad is in a sense of like she's sexy.
Yeah.
I love her.
I loved her in Grandma's Boy.
Oh yes, well, Salt and Pepper's here. salt and Dead to Me.
That's me.
Great show. Have you seen it?
That's me. I know.
Christina Applegate,
Oh yeah.
the guy who plays Cyclops in the
Yeah,
X-Men
I heard-
movies,
I
is
heard-
in it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great movie. I mean, great show.
And
3
she's
seasons.
Hawkeye's wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very shortly, but
Yeah.
yes,
No,
100%.
she is comes back. She came back in the bleep.
Well, yeah. I mean,
And then his daughter
I haven't
as well.
seen Echo yet. I still got to watch Echo.
Oh. No, in Hawkeye, she's alive.
Well, yeah. That's his wife, of course.
Anyway, yes. So, Ahsoka's next.
I'm down.
So
I'm down, and it's not animated, so I can actually fucking enjoy it. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed watching the show,
Yeah.
but my attention span when it comes to animated CG stuff, it doesn't click. Like, I have to rewatch a lot. You know what I mean?
So we will knock this out. This is the end of the cast. So
Yes, this is the Not a Trekkie podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tenacious T, aka Tatsuku Wap. You can follow me on the real Tatsuku Wap on Instagram. You can also follow the Popcorny Podcast on Spotify. Also follow it on Popcorny 1975 Instagram, 1975 TikTok. Follow Tyler Los. Follow the Merc with the Mic.
on everything, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and TikTok, and Twitter.
Go and check out all of our casts.
Yes, we have the Morphin Cast, the Gamer Rage Podcast, the Odd Shell Shock, and the Not Trekkie. And then we also have our weekly, the Wrestling Babble, and Guest Bearers Podcast.
Exactly. Always a shouts out to Game On, a retro video game store based on Long Island at 3 separate locations. One in Smithtown, one in Patchogue, one in Miller Place. Satisfying all your retro video game needs. And if you're on Long Island visiting these stores, go to the Game On Retro Video Game Arcade. One in Smith Haven Mall in Lake Grove, one in Tanger Outlet in Riverhead. Great times. I suck at GameCube NBA 2K. I suck at it. Me and Merc did horribly against Ty and Tony.
They cheated.
Yeah, they definitely did. They knew cheat codes.
They low blow us.
Shouts out to Mike, Louis Beans, our producer.
Yes. Always shout outs all the time.
Always fuck Zordon, and up until
Michael Bogowski, whatever his name is.
Oh.
The dude that got you into Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. My bad. I'm sorry. Always a shouts out to Mike Wazowski, my boy Mike. I never watched Star Wars. I mean, I did. I just never liked it until my next door neighbor put me onto it. So I thank him. He is the master. I am the Padawan. Always just shouts out to my brother who rides out with me watching all these movies as well.
Peace out, laters, and always remember, fuck Saddam.
Yes, fuck him.
Because
It's a piece of shit.
He deserves it.